afternoon and welcome back, parents. I'm going to teach you a little game. We just played a round of it there. I'm literally in the middle of the aisle, and there's parents from the Quad Cities and parents from the Quad Cities. Their sons live across the hall from each other, and they didn't know each other. So the game is called Dordt Bingo. Seriously, Dordt, I'll just give you a little history about Dordt. Dordt started in 1955. And probably up until the mid-80s, mid-90s, Dordt was probably 95% students from Dutch heritage and from the Christian Reformed Church in North America throughout the United States and Canada. Back then, they used to play this game called Dutch Bingo. Like if you met a person with a Dutch last name, you may play bingo until you realized, oh yeah, Adam and Eve were our great-grandparents and you were related. We actually had to do that back then in the freshman halls to make sure you weren't dating your cousin. But we stopped playing Dutch Bingo about 25 years ago, and now we just play Dordt Bingo because it's a way more fun game. And it also, I think, comports with the Revelation vision of every tongue, tribe, and nation. So play Dordt Bingo like there's no tomorrow. If you used to play Dutch Bingo, you'll enjoy Dordt Bingo way, way, way more. But really, yeah, it's fun to watch parents get to know each other, and you will do that at Defender Days, and you'll do that through our Facebook pages and other ways that these guys concoct to connect you, and that's outstanding. I was serious this morning. You have to leave. And the reason, I'm going to tell you this. My first year as president, there was a parent, a mom, living in the dorms with her son until the 5th day of class. Am I lying? He came into the student service. He says, can you help me? We're like, yeah, we can help you. What do you need? My mom, won't leave. I am not Scouts Honor. So ever since then, student services said, would you please put this in your speech? So we haven't had a problem since. I'm sure you'll go home. But that is a Scouts Honor story. Yeah, Dordt, you're going to meet part of the team. You've met them on your campus visits. You met them over at the deal. God has provided an amazing, amazing group of leaders at this place. God has provided us with a wonderful mission that you saw on the screen this morning. The only thing that probably I can add to that would be for you, before you leave, if you want to pray for your kids, go to the brick pedestal. It's not a magical place or holy ground, but there on that brick pedestal is a plaque that's called the Founder's Vision of Dordt. And that continues to be our North Star as a board of trustees. It's really my job description as president. It says this: don't bother being a Christian college if all you mean is that in the evenings after class you have Bible study. Don't just append devotional activities to the regular work of a college. But in everything you do, all the students' lives, basically, if you want to go down a little square inch road, right? We have the squares. Those are named in honor of the famous term from a Dutch theologian from the 1900s called Abraham Kuyper, who has a famous speech when he started a university in the Netherlands, where he talked about there is not a single square inch in the whole domain of human existence over Christ, who is king of all, doesn't say that's mine. And that's why we're permeating everything with the spirit and teaching of Christianity, from yes, our hockey team, to our football team, to the chemistry labs, to the way in which we worship together and everything. And I guess that's our commitment to you as parents, is that we are going to try to have your students understand that serving the living God of the universe and the King of all creation just doesn't happen on Sundays. Yes, we will we will do everything we can to help them go to a church and have it happen on Sundays too. But we believe that the worship of God happens in the chemistry labs just as much as everywhere else on this campus. And that Founder's Vision might be a little place for you to just say your last prayer, to say, Lord, hold these people accountable and faithful. Send your Spirit to this place to help them do that, and help my kid catch a vision of how big a God you are and where they fit into that story. And we're just really thrilled to have your children among us. Thank you for trusting us with them and sharing them with us. And I'm going to invite Robert Taylor to run our parent panel. Robert serves as our Vice President for Student Success, as well as our Dean of Students, and he's got some wonderful people for you to meet. Robert.
Thank you very much. I see I have a mic up here too. Which one do you want me to use? Oh, you need one? Yeah, thanks. Better to have too many mics than not enough, I guess. My name is Robert Taylor, and I get to serve as the Vice President for Student Success and the Dean of Students here at Dordt. I'm just starting my 28th year here, and before that, I was a student here. So, been in this area for a long time, always working in student support. And I have to say, we are so excited to see your students here all summer. Basically, what we do every day is plan for this day and, of course, the rest of the school year. And this year, one of the fun things that we got to do was work on our outdoor spaces. Last year, we talked to students, had focus groups, and asked them, hey, what would you like us to do outside of your buildings that would draw you out and create opportunities for you to interact with one another? And so we basically took notes, and we did what they said, and we think it turned out really beautiful over by North and East Hall, over by the quad where the upperclassmen live. And we're super excited about it because already seeing students on that sport court out there every single night has been amazing. So we can't wait to see how your students are gonna use that space and all the spaces on our campus. Meticulous details put into the planning, the design of everything that we do here. And I hope that you'll see that over time. And we're just so excited to have you here. We focus on your students' physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, and social health. Those are the primary things that we're looking at because we believe that when they do well in those areas, that their academic health comes right behind that. And if we think about our own lives, it's a mouthful: physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, and social. We think about our own lives, we struggle to keep all of those things in balance. It's something that takes a lifetime to master. So of course it's going to be a challenge for your students. They're going to run into things. Maybe something changes with a significant other. Maybe the health of somebody that they care deeply about back home changes. Could be anything. And this group of people were representative of a whole group of employees that's here that has these jobs because we love students. And so when those things happen, when those challenges come up, we're all trying to work together, and you'll hear that as the panel introduces themselves and talks about their areas. We're all trying to help your students be healthy in all of those areas so that they can thrive here and that they can do well in the classroom, and that God can use this experience to shape them and grow them into who He's calling them to be. So we'll do our best to help with their health, and we'll count you as partners in that as well, and you'll hear more about that as we move forward. So physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, social health, please pray those things over your students. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the panel or have them introduce themselves.
Sounds good. I'm Ethan Brew. I'm Dean for Technology and Applied Sciences, and I think I've been chosen to be the voice of the academic space today. And I woke up this morning feeling a little retro. Actually, my kids are all out of the house, and they would say, "You don't feel retro, Dad. You are retro all the time." So, but I was thinking back to 40 plus years ago, as a freshman engineer, heading to this college with sort of a strange name, and sitting in an engineering class where the faculty member, said this to us on the first day. He was a faculty member that had a reputation for single-handedly deflating grades, I think, in terms of, but he read this: "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or what kind of grades you may get. Is not life more important than food, and what you truly learn more important than the grades you get? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than birds? Who of you, by worrying, can add even 1/100th of a point to your grade point average?" And he went on. "And why do you worry about financial aid? See how the lilies of the field grow. They do not labor or cultivate the soil, yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his riches was as wealthy as one of these. If that is how God provides for the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more provide for you, O you of little faith? So, do not worry, saying, how will I get a good job, or how will I get into grad school, or how will I keep my scholarship? For the pagans run only after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need these. But seek first his kingdom and righteousness, which includes wisdom and understanding, and all these other things will be given to you as well. To be honest, I don't think I listened that day. I think, as most freshmen, overwhelmed, nervous, anxious, probably didn't as well. But as I look back on that, and as I remember that day, I think how powerfully true that was, in spite of my worry. And I think that's what I want to just pass along to you, that us in the academic space, there is one most important thing that we want of our students, and that is to care deeply about your academic learning, because God deeply cares about it and his world. But don't worry. Seek the kingdom. And if our students can finally get this, they've passed absolutely every test on this campus, regardless of what major. But actually, we continue to learn this and learn this and learn this every year God gives us. So I want to pass that along to you, and I hope you pass that along to your students as well, that they can remember that that's at the heart of our academic learning, is to seek first the kingdom. And don't worry, God knows you need those other things as well. So I'll leave that with you, as was left with me way back when. Thanks you for letting me sort of think back.
My name is Derek Butine, and I serve in Student Services as the Associate Dean of Students and Director of Residence Life. So I oversee the Residence Life program, I oversee housing, student activities, and campus security. My goal is for your student to be connected on campus. So we intentionally design our housing placements so that your student is getting to know a wide variety of people, not just the people that are similar to them. So we have engineers living on the same wing with education majors, we have choir members living next to soccer players, and so on. And we think there's something really, really valuable about those interactions and getting to learn from somebody who's different than them. So right now, your student is meeting with their RA for the first time, which hopefully you've had a chance to meet them as well. Their RA is a great resource for them. They're going to facilitate weekly events with their wing and be that first point of contact for issues that might come up. So I just spent the last 2 weeks with the RAs in training, and they hear from all of these departments here, and they're trained to refer and connect students with resources on campus. So if your student has some sort of issue or concern that comes up, please encourage them to connect with their RA. We're also very intentional about student events on campus. We're always thinking about how we can connect students. The RAs will plan an event every single week for their wing, and they also plan a building event once a month, and student activities plans events for the entire campus each week as well. So there is always something to do, and attending these is a great way for your student to meet people. Another thing that my area does is help students navigate roommate issues. So not every roommate pair is the perfect match, and every group is going to have things that come up and issues that they're going to need to work through. So we're here to walk with students through that. Now, our first reaction isn't going to be to separate the students and to find them a different place to live. Sometimes that's the end result, and that's okay, but we're going to work with them to help them face that conflict. And when students come to my office with a roommate concern, one of the first questions I ask them is, have you talked to your roommate about it? And maybe you can guess the answer, but so many times they say no. So we'll talk about what that conversation can look like, and then we go from there. And sometimes, like I said, it ends up that we do need to make a switch, and that's okay. But what we want is for students to confront those difficult situations, because that's going to be a skill that they're certainly going to need down the road. And then sometimes there are situations and crises that come up, and maybe that's a physical or mental health concern. We partner really well with other departments on campus and local agencies and hospitals in our area to provide the best care for your student. Our goal in those situations is always to get your student to connect with you. You're the ones that know them best, and we work closely with you through those circumstances. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Beth Boss. I've had the joy of serving here for the last 19 years in student health and counseling. Our team is made up of 2 licensed mental health counselors that have both been here for over 10 years, 2 RNs, and at the beginning of October, we're going to be adding a nurse practitioner to our staff, and that addition is going to allow us to provide an increased depth and breadth of care for your students. As Robert mentioned earlier, student services in our area, our goal is to promote physical and emotional health, and we know that most students don't come to campus ever thinking about the time when they might feel sick, but if they do, we want them to know that we're here. Our office is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 3 when classes are in session. We're closed during all breaks. There's no charge for appointments in our area. The Dordt Defender Handbook that you received today on pages 16 through 19, the information is there about our hours, including our walk-in medical clinic each morning, our location, our contact information, instructions for how your student can schedule counseling or medical appointments, types of services that we provide, and off-campus medical and mental health care providers. Just a few words about health insurance. Dordt does not require proof of health insurance, and your student does not need it for on-campus care. But if your student is seen off-campus for any reason, they will probably be asked about insurance. If you are insured, please take some time to provide your student with a copy of your insurance card and an explanation about how your plan works. Some plans require permission to be seen outside of your network area. If you know that this applies to your plan, I'd encourage you to make a phone call here in this coming week and let your carrier know that your student is or that your child is a college student now and outside of your network of care. This just makes it smoother if your student needs to get care off campus sometime while they're here. Finally, I want to tell you that the part of our work for our team that we enjoy the most is caring for your students. We know that the first time that they come to our area, it may feel intimidating. We make it our goal to help them to feel comfortable and cared for, no matter what their care concerns or questions may be. If you have any questions or concerns that you want to talk to me privately about, I will be down there when we're done with this panel. Thank you.
I'm Rose Postma, and my area is the Academic Enrichment Center. So my team's job is to help all students be successful in their coursework here at Dordt. And to that end, we have peer tutoring services that are free and for all students. The best thing for those sessions is for your students to come with questions. Our peer tutors do not reteach a class, but rather offer resources and help answer the questions a student might have. We also offer proofreading and writing support that can be anything from a drop-in proofreading session that doesn't require an appointment. And we also partner with the English department to provide specific support, particularly for some of our core English classes. Our office also handles all the academic accommodations on campus. That might be for a student with a learning disability, but it also might be for short-term accommodations for maybe a concussion or an unexpected medical event. There's a couple of tips I have for you as you're encouraging your students to be successful academically. And the first is to have them go to class. Class attendance is a strong correlation with success. And sometimes our students are a little, their college schedule is unfamiliar to them. And so we have to encourage them to say, book appointments outside of your class time. You have a lot of freedom to do that. The other piece is looking at when classes begin and end, before and after breaks, and the exam schedule. All of those can be pressure points with travel, and so looking at those early and knowing what those are to ensure that they can make all of those can really help with their success.
Hi, I'm Justin Bailey, and I serve as the Dean of Chapel here at Dordt. This is my 10th year here. And as President Hoekstra shared, faith formation happens all throughout this institution, not just in Bible study in chapel, but we do have Bible studies in chapel. You can sort of hear a little bit from Ethan, the sort of formation that happens. And we seek to have a coherent experience of formation, of faith formation across the institution that connects chapel, Bible study, what they're learning in class, all together. And we do that in 4 key ways. And the first one is by providing services. There are 3 primary services that we provide. The first one is chapel every Wednesday at 11:10 to 11:50. Chapel is not required at Dordt, as you probably know. It is incredibly well attended, in part because we have chosen to value it as an institution. There's probably some positive social pressure to go to chapel, although it is not required to go to chapel. We also offer a Thursday night praise and worship service that is very well attended, a Monday night prayer service, and then there's also a Wednesday morning prayer for the nation service that we have. The second thing that we do is mobilize and organize Bible studies in small groups on campus. There's usually between 30 and 50 small groups happening. They are student-led. We train students in how to lead a small group, and then they have a small group fair 1 week from tomorrow where they'll stand out and try to recruit people for their small groups and join Bible studies. And we always encourage students to join that if they can. A third thing we do is we provide pastoral care through our Walk Together program. If you walk around campus, you'll see posters that say Walk Together and have a QR code, and that is to get them connected to somebody in our office and campus ministries to provide supportive listening, scriptural counseling, or spiritual direction for students. We certainly don't want any students here to feel like they are walking alone through the things that they walk through, and so that's one thing that we provide. We work with Residence Life and Campus Health and Counseling to make sure that the continuum of care is complete. And then the final thing that we do is we encourage local church involvement. As was mentioned earlier today, we are not a church, and we encourage students to be vitally involved in the life of a local congregation while they're here. We tell them you don't have to choose between chapel and church, but if you're going to choose church, because church will keep on going, and your commitment is to the church as a member of the body of Christ for the rest of your life. I would love to talk about any of those things during the question time or afterwards.
Hello, my name is Amy Westra, and I serve as the Director of Career Development here at Dordt, entering my 10th year here as well. Our mission in the Career Center is twofold. First, it's to encourage your students in their vocational and career development, and then second is to equip them with the tools that they will need to be successful in the workforce and entering into grad school as they're working toward Christ-centered renewal. So we are a full-service career center, and what does that mean? What do we offer? The Parent Handbook has a good, comprehensive list of the services that we provide, so I'm just going to highlight a few that I think are important for freshmen. First would be our individual appointments. Especially coming in as freshmen, they may be unsure about their major or maybe even undecided, and those are appointments that we carry for a lot of freshmen, so encourage them to come for that. Also, resume and cover letter reviews, help with networking, and starting to think about internships already as freshmen. So those are some important appointments for them this year. Also participating in our career mentoring program. This is where we connect them up with an alumnus who is either in the career field that they're interested in or maybe majored in the same program that the student is in, and just to have them connect with them and have career conversations about what that is like in the future. And it's not too early to start that as a freshman. We also have online resources that are available to your students at any time that they may need them. Our career toolkit is part of the Canvas learning management platform that they will have access to. And it covers things like resume and cover letter workshops. There's a career exploration workbook in there, and also some information about how to responsibly use AI in your job search. We have a job board that has over 10,000 jobs and 2,500 internships posted today. And they're all over the globe, all majors, all industries, and we can help them to identify some of those. Additionally, we bring career education into the classroom. chances are your student is going to see myself or one of my staff members in their class at some point during their 4 years here. So how can you come alongside your student in their career development? Well, first, just know that we exist and that we can be a valuable resource for your student. Familiarize yourself with our services. The parent handbook, again, can be helpful with that. And then encourage your student to visit us and take advantage of our services. They don't have to wait until May of their senior year. In fact, please don't let them wait until May of their senior year. And also, finally, if you're looking for young talent in the companies that you work for, we'd love to be a part of that. We'd love to know what internships and jobs you have available and help us to broaden our network and opportunities for our students. Thank you.
Thanks so much, panel. At this point, we really want to entertain your questions. What are the things that are on your mind that you're thinking about, that you're wondering about? And we've got this QR code here, where if you use your phone, scan that, it'll take you to a spot where you can put your question in. We will also all stick around afterwards down here in case your question might be a little bit more personal. We'll be here and we can have one-to-one conversations about pretty much anything. So while we're waiting for questions to populate, I want to tell you about something called the Weekly. It's an email that all students get every week. We just send one because we don't want to overwhelm them. And that one email will have everything that's going on in that week and maybe a little teaser about what's coming up. And it'll be anything from fine arts things to athletics to guest speakers to Dordt student activities, wing things that they're doing in their building. So if your student says, there's nothing to do here, ask them if they've looked at the Weekly because there is so much to do here.
All right, to get us started, Robert, or anyone else on the panel, we recently added and changed our parking lots. Where are our students supposed to park on campus?
Yeah, so we have a number of student parking lots on campus, and with the addition of the new spots behind the theater building, we have a lot of places to park. So what I would recommend is that your student stops down in student services. We have a parking map that they can pick up, and students figure it out pretty quickly where they can park and where are the best places to park. But we certainly have enough and adequate parking, and students also, they do a really good job of naming things, and we removed a parking lot from where our old commons used to be, and we filled it with a beautiful new green space. But that parking lot by North, East, and West was previously known as the Promised Land. Because, yeah, if you get a good spot there, it's, yeah, you never really moved your vehicle. But the new parking lot, which is a little bit further away, they have termed Babylon because they now feel like they've been exiled farther away. But yeah, and there's a number of names for our other parking lots. Siberia's been one of them in the past. But yeah, encourage your student to stop by student services, pick up a map, and that'll show where they can park.
If someone's student is interested in on-campus jobs, how do they find out about those or apply or get more information?
I can jump in on that one. Student Employment is the office that handles on-campus jobs, and they are located within our Human Resources office. So there's a plethora of opportunities for them to serve and earn money on campus, everything from sitting at the desk and welcoming people into the rec center, to shelving books in the library, to Dordt dining and maintenance, shoveling snow in the winter, all kinds of opportunities. And they can find those on the website, dordt.edu. That's where they post those all under the jobs section there.
Does Dordt offer shuttles to churches on Sundays?
Yes, we do. We have at the clock tower, there is a shuttle every week that takes people to church, although I will say that the majority of the students find a ride with roommate, teammate, friends. Teams will go together, roommates will go together. And so there is a shuttle service that's available. I'll just say it's not used that much because most students ride with friends or roommates. And so if you're asking, where did you go to church on Sunday? I can't get a ride. There is a shuttle service, but you also might just say, well, maybe ask and see where your roommates are going or some of your teammates, because the majority of the students do attend local congregations, and so there's always a chance to go with somebody to a church.
How best should parents encourage their students to seek a tutor if they're struggling academically?
They should always seek a tutor, even if they're not struggling academically. One of our actually biggest problems with marketing, and you can help us with this, is the students who don't seek tutoring are probably the ones that need it the most. And the vast majority of our students attend some sort of tutoring or peer support session in their time here. So it's actually the norm. We usually encourage students to, if they log into their account next week, there'll be all sorts of options for them just to book themselves into appointments. And we often encourage students to pick maybe your 2 classes that you're the most concerned about, set up a weekly appointment. It's a lot easier to pull back if it goes really well. It's a lot harder to make up lost ground if you don't discover that until early November.
Can you share more about campus security? What does Dordt have for campus security, and how do we partner with local law enforcement?
Yeah, one of the beauties of living in a community like this is that many of the people on the police force we know first name, and I probably have most of them in my phone, as do a number of us. We're very, very close with the local police in how we partner, as well as all of our emergency services. We do a lot of training together. And so on campus, we have student security, and basically they're eyes and ears, but they're more really to just be here to help and support the student body. So we've got people that are always on call and always walking around when the offices are closed. And they're in contact with local police, and our response time is extremely quick. When I talk to colleagues at other schools, I find that for local police to get to our campus is often faster than campus police at various other campuses for the colleagues that I talk to other places. So we feel really good about our response time. So a lot of our students who are in student security are also part of our criminal justice program, which gives them a unique opportunity to expand on what they're learning in the classroom and to practice it outside. So the other thing I'll say is we don't let this lull us to sleep, but Sioux County, if I'm not mistaken, do I have this right? We were the safest county in Iowa this past year for all criminal activity. So we don't let that lull us to sleep, but we are awfully thankful for that. That helps a lot.
There's a couple questions about Christmas break. Do we know the Christmas winter break hours? What do students do with their stuff after the semester? And do we offer shuttles to airports at that time?
Sure, yeah. Christmas break, we do offer shuttles, and there's a spot on our webpage. If your student can't find it, tell them to go to Student Services. We'll help them find it. I just don't know off the top of my head exactly where it is on the web, but tell them to go to Student Services. We'll help them find it, and they can sign up for a shuttle. The other things that were in that?
What are the dates, and what do students do with their stuff during the break?
Jim, do you have the dates top of head or not?
December 16 at 4:50 p.m.
That's when exams end.
And then the last question is, do they have to empty their rooms after fall semester? Do they have to empty their rooms after fall semester?
They do not have to empty their rooms in between the semesters.
Thank you. There's a couple questions about health-related things as well. What should students do if they're sick outside of office hours? They might not have a car. What's the best way to get to urgent care?
Both Sioux Center Health and Promise Community Health in town here have urgent care. It's not like urgent care in the big city where it's open 24/7, but it's open into those early evening hours. A lot like church, students seem to find a ride if they don't have a car. Often a roommate will bring them or somebody on their floor. There is actually a Sioux Center taxi service. You have to arrange for it by making a call a little bit in advance. I'm not sure how quick their response time is, but there are other ways to get a ride. The Sioux Center Health Emergency Room is open 24/7, so that's also an option. If a student can wait until we're open, on Monday through Friday in the morning, then we can see them then, and if we feel that they need something that exceeds our level of care, we'd help make arrangements for them to get an appointment in town.
And if it's after hours, have them talk to their RA. Their RA can get a hold of other resources, and we're going to make sure that your student gets the care that they need.
I will just say that we have 2 emails in student health. One is to health@Dordt and one is to counseling@Dordt. And both of those, there's a bounce back that gives instructions for how to access mental health care or medical care after hours. There are phone numbers there.
One other health question. Does the student health office prescribe medication? And if they do, is it at a reduced cost?
When our nurse practitioner joins us the 1st of October, we'll be able to prescribe. We don't offer those prescriptions at a reduced cost because we don't have a pharmacy. There are 3 pharmacies, though, in Sioux Center. Hy-Vee is the farthest south. It's part of the grocery store there. Walmart has a pharmacy. Here in the center of town is Lewis Family Drug, and Lewis doesn't, if a student is on campus and does not have transportation to get their medications, I know that Lewis will make deliveries to campus. The student will have to coordinate where they're going to do the pickup. But yes, we'll be prescribing the beginning of October. I also should tell you that we have, in student health, we are able to run tests for strep throat, for mono, for influenza, and if a student does have strep throat, we do carry that antibiotic in the department, and that's $6 for the amoxicillin. If they have an allergy to amoxicillin, then we look at some other options.
There's a couple questions about Bible studies. How does Campus Ministries provide oversight of what Bible studies are selected and what's going on and being studied in those times?
Yeah, so if a student wants to lead a Bible study, they fill out a form and they meet with us, and then we have small group leadership training, and then we also have check-ins along the way. We have our director of campus ministries, Kristen Brower, oversees all of that and meets regularly with the small group leaders to make sure that what's happening there is in line with what we're hoping to provide generally in campus ministry. Was there another part to that question?
There's a couple questions about how do we encourage our students to responsibly join the right amount of clubs or not have too much time on their screens. How do you guide parents through suggesting items for their students to be involved in or make sure they have a good time balance with everything?
Yeah, so I think there's kind of a spectrum. You sometimes have students who maybe don't choose anything and students who choose everything. What I would recommend is that students check out the Taste of Sioux Center, which is on this Thursday. All of the clubs and organizations and activities will have booths there, and they can kind of peruse what they'd like to join. And yeah, I think when you're starting out, it's good for them to know that they're not necessarily having to commit fully to something. They can try something out and maybe, take a step back if they need to. And this is a time of transition for your student, and they're figuring out what it looks like to be independent and kind of take care and make some of those decisions themselves. And so there might be a little bit of trial and error, but I think through the first month or so, they're kind of threading that needle of, okay, classes look different. How do I balance this on one side? What are the things outside of class that I need to be to feel, myself and fully alive? And I would just encourage them to pick a few things, try it out, and then they can always join and jump in with clubs or small groups. If they want to join in the middle of something, that's absolutely something that they could do. So it's not, you have to figure it out right away, but you can kind of go along and find out what works.
We work hard in academics to assign a lot of work so that their options are dreadfully limited.
That's true, but students still try to do everything anyway. 2 sets of 3. First, we tend to say church, chapel, +1 in terms of formation activities. So go to church on Sunday, try to go to chapel on Wednesday, and then pick a Bible study or go to Thursday night praise and worship. A lot of the students pick church, chapel, +5. So The other thing, maybe just three, because I'm a preacher, 3 S's. Slowing, seeing, and sharing. So that they need to find things, not just that add, but things that slow life down a bit. Church is one of those things. Chapel is hopefully one of those things. So things that slow you down, especially as technology speeds us up, we have to continually be slowing ourselves down to move at a human pace. Seeing, we do try to build norms as our campus to not have our phones out all the time. So if you see in a lot of our shared spaces, the atrium, students are not on their phone, at least not as much as in other places, because we're really trying to see each other, acknowledge each other as we walk around this place. And as faculty and staff, we really try to see each other. And then the last one is sharing, making sure that you're doing things with people and not alone. That's the best part about being here, is getting to share our blessings together, but also to share our burdens together. So those would be maybe 3 things to remember as you encourage your student. What are the ways you can slow down? What are the ways you can see the people in your classes and around you in your halls? And what are the ways that you can share whatever it is that you're going through?
We have a couple questions about AI. What is Dordt's current approach to AI? Are we running towards it or away from it? And what does that look like right now?
I'll start, but somebody else can hop in. We recognize that AI is becoming a part of the fabric of culture, and we don't want to run from that. We really want to train our students to understand what it is and to figure out how they can use it in a responsible way that glorifies God by the way that they're using it. So we have a whole series of messages, and Justin could probably talk a little bit about this since he's leading those. But we're going to do a lot of training of our students this year. Some of it will be things they have to go to, other will be optional. But AI has been a part of our campus conversation probably pretty strongly for the last year and maybe even 2 years. And so our faculty have done a lot of work thinking critically about it from a reform perspective, and many others have joined in on that conversation as well. We're going to have a new tool for our students that's called the Boodle Box, which is something that a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, other schools who we really respect are using the Boodle Box. And what it does is it creates an opportunity for all students to have access to the same AI tools, so that it's not just those who can afford it, but everybody has access. And we're going to be providing that for a year. And while we're providing it, we're going to be doing all this education, because again, developing your students' heart and mind alongside of AI. We don't want AI starting to do that development. You guys have been doing it for years, and you'll continue doing it for the rest of your students' life. Now we're coming alongside of you and joining you in that, and we're going to be careful and do everything that we can to have AI be in its right place. What would you add?
Yeah, a lot of us are really worried about AI, rightfully so. The thing I always think about is we had a speaker who came here and she said, ideas are not safe, but you can handle them. Right? You're not fragile, you can be taught to handle them. And I would say the same thing, that AI is not safe, but you can be taught to handle it responsibly and even redemptively. And so that's really our approach, is to try to think about what that means together. We will have 3 large community conversations. They're optional. Our hope is they'll be well attended this semester with myself and Dave Mulder. Dave has done a lot of writing and speaking on the subject of artificial intelligence, and so we'll have 3 sessions on the first Monday of September, October, and November on artificial intelligence. I'll just give you some of the titles. The first title is Terminator, Wall-E, and Jarvis, Futures for Living with Bots. The second one is called How to Train Your Dragon, Demystifying LLMs. And the third one is called When Not to Use Magic, the Goodness of Being Human. So we want to help students learn to think without machines, to think with machines, and to think about machines from a Christian perspective.
We have time for one more question, so we'll end with a fun one. Are student pranks encouraged?
And that's the president. No, we want our students to have fun on our campus. Is it okay if I say what you told the RAs? So we've got a sculpture on the end of the greenway that our students call the French fries. It's a massive rust-colored sculpture. And President Hoekstra told the RAs that he would like to see a Culver's fry wrapper around those by the end of the year, and he even offered to put up the money in order to pay for the materials. So we love pranks, but here's the thing I always tell students. At the end of a prank, everyone should think it's funny, and no one should have to clean it up. So those are the two things. You can do a lot of fantastic things if you have those things in your mind. And the other ones, well, they'll happen too, and we'll work through those things. It's part of having a community of 18 to 22-year-olds. We love it, though. So that was the last one? Okay. Some of those questions, I was hearing a lot of, how is this going to go? I'm not going to be there. How is somebody going to take care of my student in this situation and in that situation? And we get that. We all are here because we love students. We want to see your student thrive. And so we'll do everything that we can to support your student during hours, after hours, whatever. There's limits, of course, but we try to remove as many barriers as possible because we really just want to serve your students well. We want to see them do well. So that's our commitment to you. And we're so thankful that you trust us with that. I'd like to close us in prayer, but before I do, I'll just mention that the parent social is in the Overlook, which is the upper area of the atrium, and that starts at 3 o'clock. And then there's a prayer walk that will be in the Dieger, that's like the bottom of the big oak staircase in the campus center, and that's at 4 o'clock. So if you're interested in those things, and we hope you are, please head to those areas. And again, we'll all be down front afterwards if you've got any questions that we can answer for you. But let me close us in prayer. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his presence go before you, and behind you, and beside you, all around you, and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, and you're coming, and you're going, and you're weeping and rejoicing. He is for you. He is for you. Lord, thanks for your promises. Thanks for caring about each one of these students even more than any of us could. Thanks for promising to be with all of us. Thanks for loving us. Thanks for growing us into the people who you want us to be. Lord, please help us to trust you with that. And we pray for our students that they would absolutely thrive, that they would come into new understanding of how incredible you are, how you've ordered your creation, and how they fit into it, what you're calling them to be. And may this be an incredibly supportive community for fostering all the right things so that each student can flourish in that calling and live into it in beautiful ways. And Lord, as the parents leave this place, I just pray that you'd be with them and encourage them and bless them. Give them safe travels. But Lord, give them connection to their students that they never could have anticipated. I pray that those relationships would blossom in ways that are surprising and that are beautiful. Lord, thanks for such good families. Thanks for such good community. And may you be glorified through the things that happen at Dordt University this year. Thank you for your love and for your grace. We pray all these things in the name of Christ Jesus. Amen.